Hi, I'm the Brick Pie, and today we're gonna go and groom a ski track. So grab a drink if you're liking, take a seat by the fire, and enjoy. This is the Reobrixx 22019, the Mechanical Snow Groomer. As always, let's jump in straight up with the hard facts. This set costs between 80 to 100 euros depending on where you buy it. I think I bought it for about 100 euros on Amazon, but the price kind of differs. So for reference, I'll always take 90 euro because this seems to be like around the average what you can get this set for all future reference. The set has 1,100 pieces and weighs 1,194 grams. Be advised, the 1,194 gram are with motors and battery pack included. This will make for 8.18 cent per piece and 7.54 cent per gram. So much for the hard facts. Let's have a look at the box. We've got a nice backside. The included motors and battery pack. The dimensions. Some neat little Chinese safety instructions. Yeah. Let's make some room. We might need it. Before we get into more details, we do have a printed instruction. We've got my arch nemesis included. That you can, or where you can almost hide the entire set behind it. Every time I see a full-sized A4, is it A4? Not sure. At least it's a big sticker sheet with I don't know how many stickers. Not a big fan. Not even that, as you can see, it's all blurry. So not only does it have a sticker sheet, even the sticker sheet is low quality. That is about the worst I've ever seen for a sticker sheet. Nonetheless, in the end, it is a play set for kids or like teenagers, whatever you like. So I'm still not sure how to feel about that. I always hate that, and I'm not gonna lose any good word about that. Were this set not as complex as it is, we're gonna talk about that in a minute, I might be able to ignore it a bit more, but honestly, this is like a new all-time low that I've seen for sticker sheets. Let's quickly move that away. Before I forget, this is a motorized Technic set. There are stickers in this world where I am totally fine with and even grateful for, and that are the colored stickers or the A, B, C, D stickers that you can put on the power connectors and the motors so you recognize them for later. Even though we've got a huge sticker sheet here, that is the kind of sticker that is not included. That is the kind of sticker that I like to see because it really helps you through the building process, and if you have to dismantle the battery box for whatever reason, or you have to replace it or whatever. So that is not included, but you've got that. pieces, I had 2 pins as a spare, and it had one wrong piece where I've got delivered this one, but instead I needed a 1x2 Technic brick with 2 Technic holes in it for this part over here. I'll try to show that later a bit more in detail. I took one from my own reserve, but if you don't have that, it really sucks because you can't really build this part here without that brick, which would suck. And we've got like a, I don't know, fish shaped brick separator. So much for that. The instruction, it had some bent edges, which is not too bad, but it is a typical like quality assurance thing, and we know that can be done better. The instruction overall is pretty clear, leaves not many doubts. It does bring things in motion. The print quality in there is also a bit blurry, but it's not too bad. You can see what the entire thing is about. You can recognize easily what you're supposed to do. But print quality in the instruction is mediocre at best. It's always like with that slight green marking color. That way you can see what you're supposed to do. You can see it over there. So yeah, pretty clear. We've got A and B separation, although the boxes, the cardboard inlet boxes were swapped. Like I had the A packages in the B box and the B packages in the A box. Again, it's not bad, but I've got to mention it. Okay, with all of that out of the way, let's have a look at the set. I mean, we do want to see that thing move, right? It is turned on. Yeah. I could do this all day long, honestly. I have not killed a cat yet. Might be due at some point. That you'll hear in like late night news that some idiot like killed their cat with a mechanical Technic snow groomer. If you ever hear that, that's probably me. Driving that thing is fun. Obviously, it's a lot more fun on like softer undergrounds because the chains are typical brick hardness, so they do slip a bit on like flat surfaces. The controls, yeah, also fine. I mean, you do control the left and right chains separately as you would in real snow groomer, so that one's fine. You can move them the opposite directions for quick turns. And as you see, that works rather well, so it really stays in place and rotates in place. We've got the front shield that you can raise and lower. We've got the rear groomer part that you can raise and lower. Okay, yeah. If you really put it up on maximum height, yeah. What more do you want? You can't control the arm. You actually have to use manual labor to control that. What a shame. We do have the hook that is on a string, and you can draw that in with a typical string connect. Nothing too fancy. String is in a nice length, so you can lower that quite a bit down there, but it does not really drag over the floor, which I think is okay. Overall, the design, you can see that it's a snow groomer. It's a Technic set. You can see the technical stuff in there. We've got the hydraulics that are reassembled with these rigid hoses, which already come in a pre-cut length, which I really like, because you don't have to measure and cut and then be annoyed because you misjudged it and yada yada yada. So all of that, nice. The colors overall are also pretty good. Nothing where I've noticed that the color deviations are too great or anything like that. In my opinion, it really looks nice. We've got the red and yellow and the black. We do have black pins, so no Lego blue pin crap. So yeah, the only thing is I've had this one of these bricks. I really want to pull that out there now. No, I can't. Yeah, like one of the 1x2 Technic bricks. I have one like this. This one. This one was missing, and instead I had this one. It was not a big issue for me, but I could understand, like, don't know, if you give that to your teenage kid on Christmas Eve and you do not have a brick collection like mine, and that happens, that's going to be a real bummer, because that means half of that is missing, which just looks crap. For building, it says 14 plus. I am quite experienced with brick builds. I'm a patient guy, but even I had one or two moments where I thought this thing is going to learn to fly in a second. I do want to see the 14-year-old who can build that in one go without losing it. There are so many situations. I think the worst one was attaching this entire thing, because you do attach that. Wait, let me look that up in the instruction. Because that was the moment where I thought, nope, that's going to be it. It has to be, yeah, that. You've got these 4 black pins that are supposed to connect to the red Technic parts. The issue? These pins already need a great angle and a good bit of force to connect. Once they are connected, they really hold on, which is nice for a set like that, because you could probably drop that thing to the floor and nothing happens. Like, don't know, pieces like this might fall off, or some like decorative things like the mirrors. But apart from that, nothing's gonna happen. The issue is with this is all of the 4 black pins can move independently. That means you have to push them all in while they move around independently, and they'll slip away from you. And you can't really get a good grip on that. This alone, this step probably took me like 10 minutes and 2 cups of coffee. So, and there are quite a few of these steps where I'm not really sure this is great for a 14-year-old. Yeah. Another thing is these chains. Building these chains, you've got 37 individual chain pieces for each side. Connecting them is a great work for a convicted felon. Fun is not really the word I would associate with that building step either, and that is the very last step you do. I don't know what it is with all the brick sets having the most painful building step as the very last one. As if the designers were like, yeah, we're gonna save the real pain for the finale. It was horrendous, but yeah. Overall, I still think it is a great set. The price, in my opinion, is a bit tough for what you get. You do get a nice set, don't get me wrong. That is motorized. It does have an app control, but we're not going to talk about app control because I'm not really a huge fan of that. Although it does come with a standard RC control, so I'm also fine. So if you want to control it via app, you're fine to do that. I personally wouldn't think of that because it's just a clunky app that's gonna like be stranded on your phone and you're never gonna use it again. And at some point your phone model's not gonna work with the app anymore, or they update that, or they don't update it and you get a new phone. You get the idea. So not a big fan, always a big fan of that. Still, the price for that is, in my opinion, a bit too high. Reduce that to like 60, 70 bucks, and we've got a really great set. Still not really sure what the target audience is for this, because it does say 14 plus. How many 14, 15, 16-year-olds nowadays will play with something like that? So I think the target audience is very niche, because like for a 6, 7-year-old playing with that would be like birthday and Christmas Eve falling on the same day paired with Easter holidays. A 14-year-old? I don't think so. But anybody younger than a 14-year-old, maybe like a 12-year-old, won't really be able to build that thing, or like most of that thing. An advanced 12, 13, 14-year-old who's built like 20 sets like in like that Technic universe before will most likely pull through, but will also most likely need help at 1 or 2 steps. But yeah, overall I do like that. It is great, it is cool. For that price and the controls, I would like to see some lights on there as well, because we do have the lights reassembled up here, but that's it. Yeah, also I can try to show the entire thing to you. You do see the motors down there, the groomer, I like how they build all of that. It works really nice. Reduce the price by €20. Make this thing a little bit less complicated if possible. And you've got a great target audience with like 8 to 10-year-olds who will wish for that thing for Christmas and for birthdays. Because it is cool. So, yeah, I think with that, I've said everything that has to be said about that. So, all that leaves me to say is bye on the break pie.